I just got out of a meeting with my client and I want to share with you guys what I just discussed because it's top of my mind and I think you just need to hear it. So if you want to retire early, if it would be easy, everyone would do it. Now that's coming from me, the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. All I hear all day, every day is people telling me, I don't love what I do. When can I stop? Or I do love what I do. I just want to keep doing it and I want to make sure when I do stop, I'm in a good position. Or I know there are benefits from tax planning, or I need to invest better and so on. But to me, one of the biggest things people overlook is the investment piece. Now, I will say this, okay, big disclaimer. A lot of people are reaching out to us and they just want us to help with investment management. And I will say, do not hire me. They're like, why not? I'll say, because if I'm just doing, or any of your current advisors, even if you don't have an advisor, a lot of you, I would probably agree with you that it is not worth hiring an advisor just to do investment management. And I'm going to show you why I find so many people look at this incorrectly right now. I literally just got off the phone with a client of mine. I was talking to them through this document, and it's less of a document, more of just a piece that explains why people go wrong investing. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is not the holy grail of investing, but it is going to make you think a little bit differently because most people will ask me the following question. What investment should I use? What are the best investments to use so I can retire with confidence? And I'll say, if anyone tells you an answer directly to that question, don't trust them because there's no magic investment. The truth is, it's not exciting, but if you need a bunch of different investments to create income during different market situations, because when you retire, guess what? As you know, markets are going to keep fluctuating. You need a plan. And if you have a few investments and they're all kind of correlated to when the market's doing really well, when it doesn't do well, it's going to be really tough for you to get your income. Other times, what's going to happen is markets aren't going to be doing so well. You're not going to be so happy. And your good advisor should be saying, hey, we're doing a Roth conversion. Markets just went down. Let's do some of this stuff that I talk about in the show. So what I'm going to show you now is a really basic graph. Everyone can understand it. And I think it's going to make you think a little differently about your current investments. So let's hop right in. Now, this should be big enough for all of you, but I want to walk you through what we're looking at right here. If you had $1 in 1926 and you let that grow for nearly 100 years to 2022, here's how that dollar would have performed. Meaning $1, if you just adjusted for inflation, the consumer price index, CPI, what you're going to see here is $1 essentially became $17. That's inflation. Now, if you had T-bills or treasury bills, $1 became $22. Long-term government bonds, $1 became $131. And then here's what I really want you to think about. $1 invested in the S&P 500, which is that US large cap index, became $11,527. That's significant. That is why people invest. But I know you're already going, Ari, what are you going to tell me right now? Which is the fact that the majority of you who reach out to me, your investments have very little, if not no, small cap exposure. And you can see the US small cap index, so same $1 became $28,000. This is a big difference. If you're retiring early and you're going, you know what, I'm going to be investing the next 30, 40 years. What big of a difference does this make? I mean, this is a night and day difference. Imagine it's not $1, but it's $1 million. Well, now all of a sudden you're left with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of more dollars by simply investing well. So when people say, why do you love this stuff? My answer is not, I love investing. My answer is, if you can retire 5 years earlier and spend more because we were intentional about the way we invested, that's why I love this stuff. So it's not saying put everything into US small caps. And by the way, these US small companies, these are not like penny stocks. These are the same companies that become Amazon and Netflix and Meta and Google. The difference is one word, and that word is price. You're getting a lower price. So there are more losers in this US small cap index, but the winners outweigh the losers in terms of the gains that they produce. So this is the comparative index to the US small cap is Russell 2000. When people are talking about the US small cap index, they are talking about the Russell 2000. When people are talking about the US large cap index, primarily they are talking about the S&P 500. This is a big difference. Now, either way, you did well. So most of you that are coming to me or come to our firm, you've done well. You have saved, invested well. But if you look at your portfolio, the majority of you have what I'll call an overweight or additional exposure to this part of the market, okay? What I hope you just learned is you should invest beyond just the S&P 500. Now, if US small companies don't do well, that's where we want to own other asset classes, international and real estate and emerging markets. You want a bunch of different assets that are intentionally going to perform differently in retirement. Now, my bigger concern with just having the S&P 500 is you are actually being extremely risky. Now, you might not think so, but look at this right here. This is very important. So I'm going to go over what we're looking at right here. So what we're looking at, let's go up here. This is, and I know it's a little big, so I'm going to try to zoom in to make it easy for you. Excuse me, a little small. So what you're seeing, this is the annualized returns. I'm not going to, I promise, make you fall asleep here. It's going to sound like English, not Portuguese, okay? So what this is saying if you retired in 2010, okay, let's keep it super simple. You retire in 2010, you have everything in your equity portion of your portfolio in the S&P 500. You'd be very happy because the US was the second best performer compared to everything else, compared to New Zealand and US and Denmark and Thailand and Philippines and Ireland and just globally, the US was the second best performer. On average, you're looking at 13% or so for the average return. So it did really well. But what if you get unlucky? Meaning, what if you retired in 2000, not 2010, and you go, you know what? I retired, I have the S&P 500, I should be good, right? Because I saw my neighbor or my parents or a friend retired and they seem to be okay. Well, the US is nowhere to be found. In fact, Colombia was the top performer, and then Czech Republic, and then Brazil, and then Russia, and then Peru. And these are countries that you do not think would be top performers, and they're not. But if you look at any given period, what could happen is you could get unlucky. And I don't want you to go, oh my gosh, did I get the bad 10-year period? And now am I not going to be okay? So the US is nowhere to be found. It's actually the fourth worst performer. It was a negative, about 3% return over 10 years. So why am I telling you this? I'm not just telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because you don't want to hope US does well. And if it does, you're in a good spot. And if it doesn't, you're not in a good spot. So I'm not telling you this stuff to scare you. This is real life stuff. I want you to have a bulletproof retirement, especially an early retirement, where no matter what happens, you're okay. And that's why we're having this conversation. And yeah, I do think this is a conversation. I want to make sure that you don't have any part of your plan that could potentially cause a leak where, you know what, your insurance coverage isn't there enough, or you know what, you have too much exposure to one part of the market, or you know what, you don't have a plan for how much income you need with health insurance during the first 5 years of retirement. I want to bulletproof your plan. And too often with an early retirement, most people overlook this. So hopefully this is helpful. Just a few samples. I literally just got out of a meeting with my client. I was showing them these documents and it was resonating with them. And they were saying, Ari, yep, go tell this to all your subscribers. So I'm like, okay. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please do let me know. Of course, the overall goal is that you are sleeping well at night. That's why we do this. So most of my meetings with clients is not us going over these numbers and graphs. It's going over, are you on track? Can you spend more? What tax strategy can we implement so you don't have to pay as much in taxes? But I can only do those things once I bulletproof the plan first. So if this is helpful, awesome, let me know. If you're looking to work with me or another member of our team here, please do apply in the link in the description of this video. You'll see it right there. Once again, love you guys. Talk to you soon.